We are designed to give, and then the society makes us feel that whatever we are giving is not enough. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and thought, oh my god, how did I survive all of that by myself? And at the same time, you're rebuilding yourself. Welcome to Becoming Her, a podcast that has lifted my heart for a very long time. My name is Eliza, and I really wanted to do this podcast because I thought I have so much to share with all the women out there who can resonate with me or who are living their life every single day, questioning themselves, questioning their beliefs, questioning their actions. Because I have been there, I have done that for the longest of time. I have never realized, that just because I thought motherhood could be isolating, nobody else could actually also think the same way. I moved to the United Kingdom when I had no children, and soon after that, I started having, my kids. I had my two children back to back, and I never had a village to raise my children, which is supposed to be there to help you. No family support, nothing. And it has been so hard, all those late nights, depression, anxiety, loneliness, and I survived all of that alone by myself. But no, I'm going to be here for all of you who are in that similar situation now, struggling day and night with looking after the children, understanding and looking for their own identities, losing themselves, losing yourselves in that process of becoming a mother and raising children. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do what I did and just live in isolation, and then it all leads to just depression. So, what is becoming her? Becoming her again is a journey where you just find yourself again. We're not looking for perfections, but we are just looking for, you know, that emotional resilience. We are looking for that empathy that we need to have with ourselves, because as moms, we have that for all our family members, but we put ourselves in the end. We put ourselves right at the bottom, and we don't need to do that anymore. We need to understand that our wishes, our family's wishes, raising our children, having our career, all of this can go hand in hand without being guilty of doing any one of that. And yes, that is becoming her. Just finding your identity again and living a life that you always wanted to, but without any guilt. Have you ever been woken up in the night for a bottle or a feed or a nappy change and sitting there, hating that job in that moment, and then the next day feeling guilty of hating that moment? I don't mind if people are going to judge me now, but I was hating myself while I was engrossed in that motherhood life, and day and night, sleepless nights, looking after my children. I was never happy. I was always irritated. I was always annoyed. I was not a happy person. And if I am not happy internally, my kids can feel it, no matter how nice of a mother I'm trying to be with them. But the feelings, the energy that is around there, it never leaves your house. If you have that negative energy and those vibes around you which are not very positive, it can actually transfer to your children, to your husband, to your partner, and you wouldn't even realize it. And it's not easy. As moms, I went into a serious postnatal depression when I had my first child, and I was the worst version of myself in that moment. I was fighting with my husband, I was irritated, I was angry. And it was not up until years later that I actually found out that there's something called postnatal depression. And all that time, I was guilty of behaving like that. I thought there's something wrong with me. I've gone mental, you know? So these are the little things that, I realized with time that, I scrutinized myself too much, way too much than I deserved. And if you are folding clothes right now, doing laundry, or I don't know, commuting to work, and you have had these sorts of guilt in your life as a mom, then this podcast is for you, because every week I'm going to be here sharing with you my journey, giving you those examples, and setting an example that confidence and a happy life can be as easy as you can think of, like making a cup of coffee. Trust me. And we just think that all of these things are very difficult. When I started to go back to work, my confidence level was not even zero, it was minus. I thought I'm not capable of anything. I never looked at applying for a better job up until it was really needed. I always underestimated myself, and I think a big role here was played by my husband, my partner, who I definitely will invite on this podcast one day, because his support was, I think, the ultimate survival for me, because he always gave me this motivation. And he always said to me that anybody can do anything. And sometimes that was very overwhelming, by the way, because I thought he has too many expectations of me, and I think he's wrong. Trust me, that is what we say losing self confidence. And when I say self confidence, I'm not talking about arrogance or thinking very highly of yourself. I'm just talking about believing in yourself. But no, I had limiting beliefs. I just thought I could not do anything. But that little support from him, I would say he was my coach. He was my counselor. He was my consultant, whatever we call him. I had that support from him when it came to my career and, my ambitions. And that helped me so much. But I know for a fact that a lot of women out there, a lot of moms out there, they don't have that support from their husbands. And they really need someone to tell them that they can do it, but unfortunately they don't have that support. They don't have that emotional resilience, because they don't have that emotional support, and they find themselves alone in that life that they're juggling. And if they're working, whilst they're at work, they're guilty of not giving enough to their family. And whilst they're serving their family, they're guilty of not doing that assignment on time or with full dedication, because that is how us women are designed. We are designed to give, and and then the society makes us feel that whatever we are giving is not enough. And mind you, it sounds very basic, but it's so deep that whatever we do, no matter how much we do, we always underestimate ourselves. We always think that we're not doing enough. And even when we do feel that we need more support, we don't ask for it. We feel we don't deserve that extra support. Back many, many years ago, when I wasn't working, I was living in a two-bedroom apartment, and I never had, a lot of time at my hand to tidy up or to do things. And I was kind of guilty of having too many things at my home, a cluttered house, as you would say. And people would visit me and they would pinpoint and say, "You guys have so much in your house, you need to declutter." And I used to think that, okay, they're just, I would say modestly or nicely saying that my house is too messy. And I started looking for a house help. So I used to have this, domestic cleaning service every 2 weeks. And that helped me a lot in kind of decluttering my house and making it look nice. And just when I started to feel good about it, someone judged me saying that, I live in a rented apartment and I don't even work. Why do I have house help? And this is a true epic example that no matter as women, as moms, whatever we do, we will always be criticized and judged. And a lot of times by not men, but just fellow mothers, fellow women who might be in the similar situation, but they would judge us. And I was again guilty of asking for that help. And you know what? one day I stopped listening to all those negative thoughts. And I thought what's working for me is working for me. And it might not work for the others, but it is working for me. So, in short, us moms, we go through so much in our lives, but I don't think we have enough of those, conversations where we can sit down and we can have those. And you know what? Don't take me wrong. I often used to go to these mom gatherings, and all that would happen was you know, um, just moanings and venting out, and but it was good. It worked. That oh, my husband doesn't do this and all of that, but it never gave me confidence. It just gave me assurance that okay, if I'm struggling, other moms are also struggling, and that's okay. That didn't work. It doesn't work that way. All I needed was support and something to tell me that I have that in me and I can do a lot more than what I'm doing right now. And I know it sounds not it might not be, something that a lot of women can resonate with, but the support I was looking out from other people, other women, I actually got that from my own husband. And I think that is one of the positives in my life that will stay with me. And what I am today, I got a lot of energy and motivation from my partner. And I would say that whatever I wanted to do in my life, I wanted to be a makeup artist. I wanted to try different things. People used to make fun of me that oh, you've again changed your profession. Okay, so now you want to be this. Okay, so now you want to be that. And I was guilty of constantly trying new things and, failing and then trying again and then failing and then try again. But there was this one person who always stood by me, and that was my husband. And that led me to where I am today. But as I said before, that a lot of people don't get that. And that's why I'm here to tell you that to keep on trying, keep on trying. If there's something you tried, it didn't work, it's okay. Don't be afraid to try again, because you will fail, but you will try again and then you will fail. And just to say that again, failure is actually not real. You do something and you try again, and you will only fail if you stop trying. The real failure is when you stop trying. If you're trying and it's not working, but you're not giving up, you're trying again, that is not failure. You have that in you, but what do you really want to do? Because it's not just getting up and getting a job, it's not just, going online and looking for a job and then doing that. Sometimes, we don't even know what we really want in our lives, but it's okay to take time, and we do mistakes and we learn from them. There is no harm in doing mistakes, as far as you are trying again and again, and you're just thinking straight and positive. And the only thing I would say to all the moms out there, that do not suffer in silence. Do not feel that you're alone. There's a lot of help out there in the world. It's just for you to step up and look out for it. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to have my own podcast, and why I wanted to come out and speak to all the women out there that you're not alone. There's so much happening in the world. Just don't, hide yourself in that little bubble of yours, that okay, now I'm a mom, I need to focus on my family, because this world will constantly tell you that you're not doing enough. And in the last 10 years, and in fact 12 years, whatever I have learned in my life has given me so much courage now, that I am not afraid to try. I am not afraid to face the world. And that's why I'm here. And I will definitely make more episodes on helping you out and understanding how you can navigate through that chaos in your life without feeling guilty, without feeling drained, and how you can have all of that support if you just step up. So, That was all for today. If you are interested in knowing more about myself, my journey, and you just want to grow and get that confidence, then follow me and stay tuned for episode 2 of Becoming Her Again.